This podcast is brought to you in part by Russell Lands, Coke, Buffalo Wild Wings, Southern Immediate Care, Guaranteed Labels, Central State Bank, Sunrise Docks, Banker's Bounty, Dr. Thomas Dudney, and the Green Monster Fishing Light. Now, back to Bubba on the Lake.
Hey, it's Bubba, hey, Bubba, Bubba on the lake. This is Bubba, hey, Bubba, Bubba on the lake. Yeah, he's got it going on. Gotta come and check this. Talking people, talking places from Bubba's perspective. This is Bubba, hey, Bubba, Bubba on the lake. Hey, Bubba, yeah, Bubba on the lake. Let's go.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Bubba on the Lake, America's fastest growing podcast. As a matter of fact, ranked in the top 2% by Podscan, a independent podcast ranking service. And we appreciate all that all of you have done to make that happen. But we still have work to do, so let's not get complacent out there. Welcome in. It is another episode, and man, we got a busy show today. A lot going on. The Super Bowl just happened. We'll have to review that. We're going to try to get Hunter along to talk about the game a little bit. We've also got to talk about the commercials. Usually, we review the commercials ahead of time. We used to do that on the radio show. But this time, I did not look at them until the actual Super Bowl. Now, the thing I hate about that is we had some folks over, had a great time, by the way. Thanks to the neighbors for coming over. You get to talking and cutting up and all that stuff, and you don't get to really hear the commercials and get to digest them. But I have some that I noted that I particularly liked, and I've also kind of scanned the internet for services who rank the commercials, and that's based on social media and other factors. We'll review some of that. Right after the Super Bowl was over, and I was glad that NBC did this, they went to the Olympic coverage of the downhill event, and we got to see Lindsey Vohn's run where she was hurt. Now, I understand she has broken her leg. Now, she tried to do this after tearing her ACL just a few days earlier. I don't know how in the world that she thought she could do this, but she is an extreme competitor. She has shown that year after year, Olympic after Olympics, and that's what she does. But it ended in a bad way for her. Had to be airlifted out. So we'll try to get some more details about that. Greg Sykes, who is the athletic director at Jacksonville State University, is going to be with us, and we're going to talk about revenue sharing. We're going to talk about NIL. There's always a lot of controversy and confusion about that. I get asked about that working in athletics all the time. And it's really not my area of athletics, so I thought we'd go to Greg, and he would be, the source. He knows what's going on. He also is going to talk a little bit about the new, just announced $20 million indoor practice facility for football, and will be used for some other activities also. So you don't want to miss that. Greg is he's a mover and shaker. He's on the NCAA baseball selection committee and works very close with the Final Four and other NCAA events. So he's always in the know. Great interview. Always good to talk to him. So we just got all kind of stuff going on. And we're here in the Mellow Yellow studio. I don't even think I introduced myself properly. I am your semi-retired, mostly washed-up host, formerly of the Rick and Bubba Show, and now your host of Bubba on the Lake, or also known as the People's Podcast. So thank you for being along, and we're very excited about everything going on with the podcast. Looking forward to a really big year this year. As a matter of fact, next week I will be in Orlando, and it is, this is where I have to give a nerd alert. I don't have a sound effect for nerd alert, do I? Can we get a nerd alert thing. Let's see. Do I have anything that would fit for that? I really don't. I don't even know. Where did my air horn? Oh, here it is. Okay. We use the upset air horn on the tailgate show. I may also use it, if you will allow me, for nerd alerts. I will be in Orlando for the Orlando Ham Fest. This is where ham radio operators from all over the country gather. It is the second largest ham fest in the country, second only to the granddaddy of them all, Dayton, Ohio. But based on the growth rate, it will pass Dayton here very soon. Always a lot of fun. And for us, I think one of the more exciting parts of it is we get to go south, so it'll be 80 degrees. And after the week we had last week, I will take it. Ready for that springtime weather, I guarantee you. I am ready for that. Speaking of springtime and things coming up, February the 28th, we have the big Russell Forest Run. We're glad to have them as sponsors here on the show, and this is a great event. It has raised over $152,000 for Alexander City School Education Foundation, the ACSEF. That's Alpha Charlie Sierra Echo Foxtrot. Just practicing up for my week in Orlando. Now this is a great run. Runners literally come from states all over the Southeast. It's a 10K and a 5K. It'll all be Saturday, February the 28th. The 10K is going to start at 7:45. The 5K, 7:55. And if you need more information on that, go to russellforestrun.com. Also, keep an eye on Facebook for the Russell Forest Run. Registration is now open. If you're a runner, you don't want to miss this event. And it all ends up at the stables where they have a big party. And I will say this, the folks here at the lake, I have noticed since I have moved here, if they are good at anything, they know how to throw a party, and they have a good time. They really do. And they will have the world-famous grits bar. Now, I mean, come on, grits bar. That tells you a lot right there, and I love grits. I do put ketchup on them, and that makes some people around me unhappy. But, if I was from Louisiana and it had a fancy name like Grits LaRue, everyone would think it was the coolest thing ever. So there you go. Don't miss the Russell Forest Run. And we'll be telling you more about that as it gets closer. All right, folks, a lot to cover. Greg Sykes will be here. We're going to break down the Super Bowl with Hunter. We're going to talk Super Bowl commercials also. And we also have the latest pricing on that. I had some people that were watching the Super Bowl with us wanting to know what the price of these ads were. I've got that information, and we will share it here a little later in the podcast. So we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back with Greg Sykes, the athletic director, Jacksonville State University, and a whole lot more. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Bubba on the Lake.
Hit me bad.
A production of Intergalactic Pants and Tees.
All rights reserved.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
You know one thing I love about Buffalo Wild Wings? You can get wings with any of their 26 sauces and dry rubs for takeout and delivery. That's like bringing an entire B-dubs home with you, which you can't do. I tried. I've knocked down so many walls, only to then be told to halt construction because I'm not zoned to be a sports bar. Kind of just looks like a big pergola or something because of the lack of walls. At least these 26 sauces and dry rubs are available to go. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
Illuminate your night fishing adventures with the ultimate in submersible fishing light technology. The Green Monster Fishing Light attracts bait fish and game fish in all water environments. Turn any dock into a vibrant feeding frenzy. Compact, tough, and energy efficient. The Green Monster Fishing Light will provide endless hours of family entertainment and enhanced nighttime visibility for safe docking. No dock, no problem. With our 24-inch portable Green Monster Fishing Light, start landing trophy fish tonight. Visit thegreenmonsterfishinglight.com.
Dr. Dudney has been my dentist for about 20 years. He does a great job taking care of my teeth, making sure my cavities are good, cleaning my teeth, and also adding veneers to my smile, which was a game changer. Now, Dr. Dudney and his friendly staff can do the same for you. I ask you to give them a chance. Just talk to them, no cost. Just make an appointment, see what you need, see if you can have a better smile and feel better about yourself today. Give them a call at 205-663-6545 or tedudney.com. All right, folks, we're back with a very special guest, Greg Sykes, Athletic Director, Jacksonville State University, and the most important title, my boss. Greg, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you today, Bubba?
I'm doing great. Greg, we have had a tremendous year in athletics at Jacksonville State. You've been at this a long time. There's been a lot of changes. How long have you been there now?
I am in year 33 here at Jack State. Year 12 as the athletic director.
That is amazing, by the way. I remember back in the day when we were in the press box and I was hanging wires and you were dumping trash cans and all that. I mean, you've come a long way, baby.
I have. I still dump the trash and you still do wires. So I'm not sure how far we've come.
We got a better title than we used to have, that's for sure. Well, Greg, let's we can talk about the program and where it's going and all that, but big news yesterday coming out of the trustee meeting when they announced a new indoor practice facility for the football team at Jack State. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. We certainly want to publicly thank Mr. Ken and Jeannie Howe. They made a transformational gift for us. They're going to do $10 million to help jumpstart this football indoor facility, which we call it a football indoor, Bubba, but I mean, it'll actually be able to be used across campus through multiple areas across campus. But football certainly will have, kind of priority on that. But very excited. It's going to be located right next to the stadium, right next to the new Loring and Debbie White football complex that we opened a couple of years ago. So it really should benefit not only the football program, but the entire university.
So is it a full 100 yards or is it, part of a field? Kind of what are we looking at size wise?
Yeah, I mean, it's a full 120 yards on the football side. So it is a full football field, full enclosed field, and then we'll have about a 12,000 square foot weight room, primarily for football, which will be located right there. So football, as you know, Bubba, now is basically a year-round sport. So when they come back, they can get in there in that weight room, and then we'll have some garage doors that will open, so they'll be able to utilize the indoor as they're also doing their strength and conditioning and off-season training.
Greg, I know this went into a place that used to house the RV lot, and the drawing I saw had RVs around it. So how many RVs can we get? What's the deal with all that?
Yeah, that's a great question. We currently have 27 RVs, and so we wanted to maintain as many of those as we could, Bubba. We're still in the design phase of it. For the folks that are familiar with our campus, we're going to have to mitigate a creek that kind of runs between what we call Dillon Field now and our RV lot. So that new football facility will run straight across there, but we'll have, hopefully, when this whole thing is said and done, we'll have at least 30 RV spots. It's kind of what we're pushing for because we actually have a waiting list now That's the thing that I even told in the board meeting yesterday. Said all my RV people, we're going to maintain and ensure that we're able to keep our RVs for that, because we know it's an important part of our game day.
Sure. And as far as an RV, you supply power and water, but not septic, correct? I mean, you have to save all your gray and black water and dump that out when you get home, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we have power, television, and water hookups at each one of those spots. So.
Well, the drawings were amazing, and as you said, a $20 million project. So how much of that do you have to get started? What's the time frame?
Well, we'd love to get started on that this year. As we stated earlier, we do have to mitigate that creek, so we're going to go ahead and get started on that. Having to go through the Corps of Engineers because we are touching a stream within the state of Alabama. So we've already done all that paperwork, and we're waiting on the permits to come through for that. So even though the project has passed and we do have some initial funding on that, it's really the timetable is what kind of sets this project up. So, we're hoping to get some of that completed this spring. And then, hopefully if we can finalize all the funding for it, we'll be able to start breaking ground on the actual indoor, by this fall, possibly.
Well, it's a beautiful facility. The renderings are unbelievable, and I think it just reflects the growth of the program as a whole. I know you're very proud of that, and looking forward to it. Did you ever think the day would come where Jax State had an indoor practice facility? I mean, we've come a long way, baby, since kudzu was in the end zones and little Bill Bussey was selling Cokes as a Cub Scout, Yeah,
absolutely. We really have. And when you look over, obviously by joining FBS and the opportunity to join Conference USA, was a big step in that. But as you know, but we've been winning at Jax State for a long time. We've won 26 football championships, won the 1992 Division II National Championship. So we've had some great coaches, and we've won around here a long time. And we feel like this new facility is just going to continue to elevate that. As you look our third year at FBS, we become the second school in the history of the NCAA to go to 3 bowl games in your first 3 years of eligibility. It really is. And to your point, I mean, I do sometimes just sit back and reflect on it and be like, man, is this really Jacksonville State? And it too, Bubba, for the people who have not been back on our campus within the last 5 to 6 years, they're always just blown away by the progress and everything that we've got going on.
I tell you, if they wander over to the baseball field or the soccer field, they're really going to be in shock when they see all those buildings. What is that, 700 new dorms over there?
It is. And I tell you, it's a beautiful backdrop for both our soccer and baseball teams. And of course, we open up, in the next week in baseball with Cincinnati coming in for 3 games. So I know our fans that tune in will have an opportunity to see that. But that project, I tell you, it is incredible. It just really transforms the entire west end of our campus.
Can you talk about what else is going on there now, or is that premature? Can we cover any of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, we can cover a little of it, I guess.
I don't want to give away anything here, Greg. I'm kind of looking to you to tell me where to tap the brakes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we do have, as you mentioned, about 700 dorm rooms coming in on that side of campus. And, we've got some other things in the books that we want to continue to do. One of them is honestly just to try to work with our bowling team. We have a national championship bowling team.
How about that? National champion. And then what was runner up last year, right?
We were on the NCAA side and then won the ITC national championship. So we would love to have them a place on campus where they could train. And then also for our local students and community, maybe an opportunity there. So we are looking at some options about how we can incorporate a bowling alley and maybe tie it into a national restaurant brand as well and get that over on that side of it, campus for us.
Well, that's going to be an exciting project too. I'd suggested maybe some offices over there, but I noticed that got scratched out. Not calling any names that wanted to be over there, but it sure was a great view of the baseball field.
Yeah, we call that value engineering. We have to make some cuts at times.
Right.
That was some value engineering that we had to do.
Greg, just in general, you mentioned the bowl games. It's just, again, I go back to being a little kid kid, and I watched a lot of Jack State games coming along. I saw Ralph Brock play when he was Ralph Brock, not Dieter Brock. And I remember the great teams of the early 70s, and, of course, the championship teams that Coach Burgess had, I think 56 wins in 5 years or something. It was some crazy number, just unbelievable. But, you've been the architect of a lot of that. Tell us a little bit, how do you go about that? You've had two very well-known head coaches. And how does that process go with you? How do you keep a short list on that, or do you meet people and say, hey, we might could get him, or how do you go? Because you have to be thinking ahead, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. In this day and time, and as fast as college athletics moves, and with the transfer portal and everything that is tied with that, when there is a coaching change, you certainly want to make sure you're on the front of that. So I always kind of keep a list, and I watch a lot of games. I'm fortunate. I'm pretty involved in a lot of NCAA and bowls and things. So I have the opportunity to get out and meet a lot of folks, Bubba. So I have a pretty wide Rolodex, just to be honest. So it pays off. I mean, it does when you have a coaching search and a coaching change from that stuff.
And you're on the selection committee for baseball, correct?
I am. I'm currently beginning year 2 on the Division I baseball championship committee, and I tell you, baseball is just a great sport. And for folks who've never had the opportunity to come to Omaha, I mean, it's one of my favorite championships.
Some of the staff members would love to go sometime if you just, if you got an extra seat or something. We'll be glad to work. Just let us know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll make sure and make a mental note of that. So I've got that down.
Greg, let me ask you this, because I get asked this all the time. And I tell you, I have a very frail working knowledge of it. College athletics has changed dramatically with the court cases, with the NCAA, NIL, revenue sharing. Can you explain to everybody on a level that we all can grasp it, how this revenue sharing is going to work, and how it's different from NIL and how that works? And I know it's a very complicated topic, but can you give us the 100 level version of some of that?
I can, and this is going to be effective as early February of 2026. So that's as of today, as we know with all these court rulings and court cases and stuff, how fast things change. But as of the first week of February in 2026, here's where we stand. So we had the House settlement, which went into effect last July 1st for all of the FBS and Division I schools. And what that allowed schools to do is they were able to allocate $20.5 million in revenue to distribute back out to the student athletes. And so that's a little different. So that the revenue share comes directly from the schools.
Right. It's a school thing. Right.
It is a school disbursement. Whereas NIL, which stands for name, image, and likeness, now that's distributed typically through a company, through their marketing budget and stuff, where they want to engage some student athletes to maybe go out and promote a certain product and stuff.
Right.
So that typically comes outside of the athletic department and is not managed by the athletic department. So that's kind of the difference between the two revenue streams that schools are able to use right now, to pay our student athletes, which I'm 100% in support of paying the student athletes.
Right.
And, I'm happy that here at Jack State, we are able to do some revenue share for our sports to generate revenue.
So NIL is handled independently of the school, but how does this work? I mean, if I'm the NIL person, how do I know who the coach wants or don't want, or how much money I should invest in a quarterback or a point guard? Because they're not supposed to be communicating, right? Or are they communicating? How does that work?
Yeah. So, again, it's kind of two different sides. So on our revenue share, we actually have a general manager in our football program, just like the pro teams do.
Right.
And so they've assigned a value, Bubba, to each position, on our football team. And so that's how, once we tell him what his budget is for the year, then he goes in and he knows, okay, we're going to allocate 12% for the quarterbacks, and then we're going to allocate 8% for the offensive linemen, and then go through the entire roster for football. And then once he plugs his budget in, then he'll know, what that money kind of shakes out to. Obviously, your first team quarterback is going to probably be your highest paid player on the team, typically, and then and then your lines, offensive and defensive lines, are probably going to be next there, because if nobody's blocking for the quarterback, then he has.
It doesn't
no
do any
chance.
good. Don't matter how much he's getting paid if he's laying on his back, does it?
That's right. And then your skill players, your wide receivers, running backs, your defensive back, safety. So from that standpoint, that is how our general manager ended up determining, okay, how much do we want to allocate for those positions? Now on the NIL side, and say we have our quarterback, we are able to help our student athletes sell some of their merchandise. So say somebody wanted to go in and buy a Caden Creel jersey. We actually facilitate that through our athletic website through a third party. So they go in, the fan goes in, orders his jersey. The jersey is shipped directly from a third party. And then that third party would end up giving Caden whatever agreement that Caden has agreed upon with that third party.
Now, so y'all don't negotiate that, but you're made aware of it. You get a copy of it, right? Don't you get to track that on some level or something?
Yes, that's exactly right. 100%. That is any NIL deal over $600 has to be submitted by the student athlete through what they call the NIL Go program, which is mandated through the House settlement and those things. And the main reason for that, Bubba, is to ensure that those deals are legitimate name, image, and likeness deals. So it's not, you still cannot have pay for play at the collegiate level. So that's what the whole purpose of that is.
So if in any school, not just Jack State, but any school, if I'm a car dealer or a real estate person and I want to help support the team and I want to, support a defensive end that I know or I think's really cool and want to see him driving my car, how do they go about that? Do they have to contact the official NIL for that school and work through them? Do they go to them direct? How does that work?
Yeah, most of the time, honestly, through social media and stuff, they're just probably sending them a direct message and those things and just contacting that student athlete on their own. A lot of student athletes also have representatives, who are out there marketing those students to different groups and stuff. So, for example, say in our area, and these are just examples, these student athletes may not have deals with the folks that I'm going to talk about, but maybe say our quarterback, say the local Mexican restaurant wants to do a NIL deal and want to have our quarterback come in and on a Monday night and sign autographs and have a meet and greet. They're able to engage that student athlete and pay him directly for that service.
And that I always thought, even back in the I'll call it the dark ages, although it's the wild, wild west now. I know there's got to be a happy medium here somewhere we haven't found yet. The pendulum always swings too far the other way, but it's just so strange now, because it used to be such a bobo no-no if you had an agent. And I always thought that was bad, because I think everybody needs a good lawyer and a good accountant. It doesn't matter what you're doing, because you're going to run into issues you need to be advised on. And I think it's good that these kids now can have that kind of professional input. And, a lot of times their person's going to tell them, look, you need to stay here. This is good money, or, there's a better market for you or whatever. And I guess with mid-major colleges, that people are going to move on, right? I mean, isn't that just kind of figured into the equation, how you look and how you restock the team?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you're 100% spot on there. And, and the more success that Jack State has on the football field, it's going to be due to the success that the players have on the field. So they'll get opportunities just like our coaches. If we win a lot of games, someone's probably going to come and try and take, some of our coaches so they can move on. And so it's no different with our student athletes. So the more success that they have, they may have the opportunity to move on and make additional revenue and have additional NIL opportunities that more like a Power 4 school than here at what we call the Group of 6 schools.
Well, Greg, I'll say this. I get to work with a lot of the coaches and get to see them. We're all there on the same floor, most of us. And you have just a real talent for pulling these coaches, because we have some really good coaches. I hear people talk about a good fit, but a lot of them, they're very friendly, they're very personable, and they want to win, they want to do it the right way. They're all heavily invested in those kids. They want to see them be successful as people, not just win games. And I've really been impressed by that. Coach Charles Kelly, the football coach, man, what a home run he was. I mean, you nailed that one, buddy.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everything that you said from the standpoint that, I think with my background in media relations, sports information, I tell people all the time, for me, it's all about relationships.
Right.
In the world that we live in today. And so as I'm going through and interviewing coaches. I mean, I interviewed over 25 folks to be our head football coach once we had the opening last year. And then, but I feel like that is, one of my really good talents is being able to evaluate and know people as we get into those relationships. And as we're talking about those, you said it a little earlier, how are they going to fit into Jacksonville State?
Right.
And so that's very important to me, is how are they going to fit in, not only with our fans and community, but also internally within our athletic department and on campus. And when they're dealing at the cafeteria and they're, having to go and work with financial aid or the registrar's office or any of our folks on campus, they really do. We at Jacksonville State, we are the friendliest stamp in the South. And we've got just a lot of great things going on, and we want to continue that. And I think you win with people. But I think that's exactly the success that we've been able to have here at Jacksonville State. And we've been fortunate to have some really good folks here.
And I will say too, not only on the field and coaching, you've done a pretty good job with the broadcast talent. I mean, you've had Mike Parris that has been there 40 years. Who does a great job, and we're lucky to still have him. He could have gone many places several times, but he felt like that this was his home. He wanted to stay there. You landed Eli Gold when he became available. So, I think our broadcast department that I'm involved in, we've got a lot of good talent there, and not just that. We have a lot of part-time people and people that fill in. And, this time in the spring gets kind of crazy. You got basketball, baseball, softball, all going on at the same time, men and women's basketball. And we have a lot of people we have to call on. And I tell you, we've got a great stable of talent, I think, over on the broadcasting side, too. I think it reflects the whole athletic program good.
Yeah, and I would agree 100%. We're certainly very fortunate that Mike has been the voice of the Gamecocks. I figured he probably doesn't want to leave because he'd have to get a new car tag. Because his car tag is a Jack State tag. Right. It says voice.
The voice, yeah.
And so I'm hoping that's one of the main reasons we keep him. But certainly, we were thrilled to have the opportunity to hire Eli Gold. When you go back and look at his career, 50-plus years broadcasting and 36 years with the University of Alabama, 42 years with NASCAR. I mean, just the opportunity to add him in to be our TV voice, of Jack State. And this better than any of us, Bubba, by moving to Conference USA. I mean, the name and the brand of Jack State is now nationally known.
Oh, yeah.
Right. When you look, and we've had just in our 3 years of in Conference USA, we've had 41 broadcasts, and 26 of those have been national broadcasts.
Yeah,
which is an incredible number when you look at that. And then just now, when you go through the airports or anywhere in Jack State, oh man, that was a great win over Troy in the bowl game. I mean, people know who we are.
I was wondering if you was going to bring that particular one up. I was going to ask you for a right at the end of it there. So.
I got you. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it's always great to go to a bowl game. I think it was more special that we were able to win the game 17-13 over, our longest and oldest rival in Troy State. I still call them Troy State.
Yeah, I know. And it was a great game. I mean, I don't know what the average attendance of that bowl game is in Montgomery, but that place was full. Had to be one of the best crowds they've had, if not the biggest crowd. And what a game. I mean, it literally went down to the last play, and it was such a shame before that because we've had a whole generation of kids, 18, 20-year-olds, who have never seen the Trojans and the Gamecocks play, and it used to be such a great rivalry. It really was the Division II version of Auburn, Alabama. And what a great history that it's had. And, a lot of us I speak now as a fan, not as an employee, we just want to see that rivalry continue somehow. So, anything you can tell us about that would be great.
I would love for that rivalry to continue because, as you stated, it was a great matchup. And, we have available dates in our future schedules. I've expressed that with the folks at Troy. And so just waiting to see, how they respond and if they come back with some dates and stuff. So, but there's no hold up on our end, Bubba, to extend and continue that rivalry.
Well, we'd love to see a home and home with them because that would be, they'd be hanging from the rafters at both places, It'd just be good, I think, for both programs. Well, Greg, thank you for taking time. Anything else we need to cover? Sports-wise, I know Coach Helms asked me to ask you about an indoor tennis facility. I don't know. I don't want to get into that, but he just asked me, so I thought I'd ask you.
Yeah, well, you always depend on Helmsy to come through with those hard-hitting questions right here. And like I've told him, we would love to do the Bill Bubba Bussey indoor tennis facility.
Give me the checkbook. Let me find that thing.
And I think he would be 100% in support of that as well. So we don't want to announce everything all the same week, Bubba. So
we'll wade into it.
On the lookout.
But I'm sure they play tennis on grass, so you could throw you some lines in there in the end zone and have you a quarter or two. Just when the football guys ain't in there. So he just wanted me to mention that. That's all. I just thought I'd do it.
Sure.
Greg, listen, thank you so much for taking time. I know you're extremely busy. Thank you for staying late to do this interview. And, stay cocky, baby. We love it. We love Jack State. Yeah. We love what they're doing. And you've been driving that bus, baby. Keep that pedal to the metal.
Well, thanks. And I would encourage, if you're a Jack State person and you haven't been back on our campus in the last 5 or 6 years, I encourage you to come back. I always tell people, how can I help the program? Buy season tickets or just buy tickets to our events. Come and support those kids because they really do deserve it. We have a great brand. All of our teams are really, really good. When you look at, our second full year, our football team won the conference championship. Our men's basketball team played in the championship. Our baseball, softball teams all played in the championship game. And then our bowling team had another great year. So we've got some great things going on at Jack State, and we want to continue those.
Greg, I've got to mention, since you mentioned basketball, going to the NIT, going and beating Georgia Tech on their own floor. Now, you were there during Bill Jones when we won the national championship, but in your wildest dreams, if somebody come up and said in a few years you're going to beat an ACC team on their own floor in the NIT, would you have ever believed that?
It was hard. When you look, that was our first win over a Power 4 school, Bubba, since 1952.
Yeah, amazing.
So, yeah, obviously, no. I would not have. And it wasn't like it was a buzzer beater. We won by like 20 points.
Yeah,
so, we pretty much dominated the game for there. And obviously, the game was on national broadcast on ESPN. So, Coach Ray Harper and what he's been able to do, because our men's basketball, when Coach Jones retired, honestly, that was probably the sport that struggled the most through the transition, because we've had a long, proud history of basketball, certainly at the Division II level, by winning the '85 championship, went to numerous Final Fours and stuff. But certainly it's a whole different league when you make that move up. But when Coach Harper got here in 2017, his first year, we were able to make our first ever appearance in the NCAA tournament. And we're able to go up to Louisville, or we played Louisville and up in Indianapolis. And then a few years later, we made our second NCAA appearance and actually played the Auburn Tigers over in Greenville. And then last year, for the first time in our school history, we had an opportunity to go to the NIT. Not only go, but we won the game. So, yeah, we've had so many great things happen for our athletic department in the last several years.
Well, Greg, and you've been the driving force. So thank you so much. Appreciate you taking time to do this. I get so many questions about the revenue sharing NIL, and I'm really not in a position to answer that. So you've cleared a lot of that up. Thank you very much, and stay cocky, Greg. Give me the fear of the beak there one time.
That's it. Go Gamecocks.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We'll be right back.
On the water or off, experience lake life to the fullest at Russell Lands on Lake Martin. Grab a latte at Brew 63, linger over lunch at Fanny's, or take in a Lake Martin sunset at Kalijah Restaurant. Whether you're here for the weekend or you've made your home at the lake, Russell Lands is where community and the land come together. To learn more about upcoming events, visit russelllands.com. Come see what lake life is all about.
When you need urgent care, Southern Immediate Care is here for you. Illness doesn't follow a 9-to-5 schedule, so we offer support 7 days a week at convenient locations throughout Birmingham and Northeast Alabama, dedicated to serving all ages from children to adults. Southern Immediate Care offers occupational medicine services, including DOT physicals and testing. At Southern Immediate Care, your health is our top priority. Visit southernimmediatecare.com or call 205-409-2794.
At Central State Bank, we believe community banking is more than just transactions. It's about relationships. For over 100 years, we've been helping neighbors grow, businesses thrive, and dreams become reality. Because when you bank local, you invest in your community. Central State Bank, large enough to serve you, small enough to know you. Visit us today or learn more at centralstatebank.com. Member FDIC.
On the line, we have Hunter Bussey, Hunter on Sports. Hunter, how about that Super Bowl?
That was it was something. I didn't think we were gonna have a my term buns. It was last year's Super Bowl was not that fun, and this year's was not that fun, but it was a little bit more special just because one of my favorite former Auburn players finally got a Super Bowl ring. So it was exciting, but as far as the game goes, it was a very defensive heavy Super Bowl for sure. So instead of an offensive showcase like last year with the Eagles versus the Chiefs, who couldn't even score. So
most of the experts had picked Seattle, the Seahawks. Yeah. They just looked like they had the better team, top to bottom. The Patriots, they're trying to make a return to glory. Still look like they may be a year or two out, but the Seahawks defensive line just absolutely owned the game. Now the Patriots defense played pretty good too. Yeah. But the Seahawks defense just was too much for the young Patriots.
Yeah, they've coined their defense the dark side, which is funny because everyone, their fan base was calling them the Legion of Boom 2.0. And their defense, currently was like, no, that's their thing. They've inspired us, but we're going to call ourselves the dark side. And we see why, because they are ruthless, relentless, and they will kill you any chance they can. They would not let Drake May get comfortable in the pocket last night, and it showed. And it's just they're I don't know how to describe it. They're just relentless. It's almost scary how quick they were able to get a defense that good again after all those big names like Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Eric what's that guy's name, Eric Thomas, I believe. I think I'm going blank on his name, but it's
his last name was Thomas.
Yeah,
DB.
Earl Thomas. That's what it was.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's some I'm obviously missing, but just names like that. Now you got former Auburn linebacker Derek Hall out there. You got Nehemiah Pritchett out there. And then they have DeMarcus Lawrence out there too, who used to be on the Cowboys. So they reloaded in the draft like you do, but they have utilized free agency down to an art, and Seattle's back on top.
How about Sam Darnold? What a story. His fifth team. He's from California, played at USC. And he put together back-to-back 14 and 15 win seasons. Tom Brady, the only other person to do that. And, of course, I must note that the Minnesota Vikings let him go. But other than that, I enjoyed the game because I really didn't have a dog in the fight, so I could just kind of sit back and watch. Excuse me. And so, it was more enjoyable than, say, watching the Minnesota Vikings get beat again. But
what a story, though. I mean, yeah. He went from being I think it was the third overall pick in the draft when he got drafted in, to the Jets. Didn't do well there. Didn't do well at Carolina. went to San Francisco thinking he was going to get the starting job, and then here comes Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft, Brock Purdy.
Right.
Took that starting job, and then ends up going to Minnesota, where he was at one point in the MVP conversation, and then got unfortunately lined up to play the Detroit Lions, like out the gate, who was on fire that year. And then after that goes to Seattle, and year after, he fell short with Minnesota, he wins the Super Bowl. So,
good for him. I love stories of people who hang in there and finally achieve. I mean, there's very few people can say I was the Super Bowl winning quarterback,
Yeah.
So good for him. And, no matter what happens to him now, he's got that. He can always hang on the shelf, and he's had a successful pro career. He's been to the pinnacle. So it doesn't get any better than that. Congratulations to Sam. And I might point out, it's the second time that Minnesota has let a quarterback that, what was the guy's name? He went, Case Keenum went all the way to the NFC Championship game. They were paying him like $60,000 a year. I mean, it was something ridiculous, minimal amount. Of course, they make more than that. I'm joking, but and they let him go, and then they flopped. J.J. McCarthy, I really do think
McCarthy.
J.J.
McCarthy.
Well, if he'd play more, I'd know his name. I really do think he is a good quarterback, but he's a China doll. What has he played? 6 games in 2 years, maybe? He's hurt constantly.
Now, part of it isn't his fault. The Vikings need to get a better O-line, and they've had some injuries on the O-line. I'm hoping that they'll draft, some people to protect JJ. And I think the Vikings are going to probably, if I had to guess, either draft a quarterback or go get one in free agency to cause a little competition, and maybe it'll wake them up a little bit.
No, let me announce to Minnesota, because they always make the wrong move. The wrong move is to go and spend a pile of money on another dang quarterback you can't protect. Let me tell you, Minnesota, get you an offensive line. Get the best offensive line money can buy, and JJ will be fine. That's what they ought to do.
He has the best receiver in football right now on his roster, as well as one that's up and coming.
He does for now.
Yeah, for now.
He's not going to hang around if they don't get a quarterback that can throw.
Back to Seattle and how, I was talking about how their defense is kind of like, it has the echoes of the Legion of Boom from the early 2010s. The MVP of the game was Kenneth Walker III. He is like their Marshawn Lynch 2.0 in a way, even though Marshawn Lynch is his own, its own beast, if you will.
Right.
You had the beast mode run. That's what got him famous against the Saints. It literally caused an earthquake in Seattle.
Right.
It registered. Right. But when he gets open, just, when he gets out of that, that scramble behind the O-line, he's one of these running backs that will kind of almost walk to the line of scrimmage after he gets the ball to see where, a gap will open up. And
waiting on his block.
I was like, what is he doing? And then he would just like shoot through there like a cannon. It was like crazy to see that. Like, you don't think that type of player exists anymore, and here comes one every other year. I feel like Kerryon Johnson was like that. Le'Veon Bell was like that. I'm thinking who else was like that.
Well,
Saquon Barkley's like that.
And he's kind of a unique story too, because he wasn't even the starter. But he's got in the playoffs, and he's had 150-yard games every game. If he hadn't had that long run call back last night, he would have been close to 200. Got called back on a holding penalty. I think he'd have had 170 or something. But he wouldn't even have been in the game if their guy hadn't have got hurt, and he's basically carried them through the playoffs.
Yeah, whenever he got in, I think it was against the 49ers, he showed out. It was late in the game, too, and he was still able to put up, a decent amount of yards in the half that he played. So it's crazy. And I remember when they drafted him and they were looking, because it was after Marshawn Lynch went to the Raiders.
Yeah.
And I think he ended up coming back to Seattle for a little bit, but it wasn't the same. And that, that was a mistake.
Well, let me tell you one team you don't beat: time. Time is going to win every time.
And especially with running back in the NFL, it's the NFL's nickname is not for long, and there's some running backs that have honestly surprised me and you, like Christian McCaffrey, who you wouldn't think would have made it this long, but he's just like a piece of muscle. And most of the time, whenever you see him hit somebody, the defensive player is the one that gets the brunt of the hit. So it's kind of funny in a way too. But yeah, congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. The Patriots will be back. I like Mike Vrabel a lot. He's a great coach, former player of the Patriots. So, but I like what Seattle's got going. I like their coach a lot. He's the third youngest coach active to win a Super Bowl.
What a great story too. He was an assistant at Georgia and was going to get out of coaching. Yeah. He thought he had topped out and couldn't go any further, and actually interviewed for a job, and he was about to leave coaching. Now he's the winner of the Super Bowl. How strange.
I know. Did you see his story on SportsCenter after, where he was talking about, he goes, God, do you want me to be a coach or not? I need a sign. And then got a call from Seattle to be, he at one point he was just a coordinator, and now look at him now. So it's cool to see that.
These are all great, heartwarming stories. You never see any of these in Minnesota, by the way, never. And
real quick too, I'd be remiss.
Not that I'm bitter or anything.
Yeah, real quick too, just because I'm a big fan of Derek Hall. He had 2 sacks, and one of them caused a fumble that essentially iced the game for Seattle. So that was really cool to see, and I'm happy for Derek Hall. He got a Super Bowl, and he's a champion. There was a video of him kissing the trophy yesterday, and he was it looked like he was having fun on the sidelines too. So it was a lot of fun to see that.
Well, let me ask you this: we're talking to Hunter Bussey, Hunter on Sports, as we recap the Super Bowl. Halftime shows. That was a big controversy in this. We had discussed it here. We stayed with Bad Bunny. We were going to watch Bad Bunny and see what all the hoopla was about. And somebody needs to maybe educate me on this, okay? Because Bad Bunny is Latino.
Yes.
He sings most of his songs in Spanish.
Yes.
And he did a halftime show in Spanish. Now, I assume he said a bad word once or twice at the beginning because they cut it out.
Probably.
But I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know what he said. Okay. It was the production was high level. Now
I thought it was a great production as far as like, it was better than last year's. I'll tell you that. Like I like Kendrick, but that Super Bowl halftime show shouldn't have been a thing with Kendrick. I thought it was just
it was weak.
It wasn't as good.
It was a little weak.
It was weak.
But the Spanish music is really not my cup of tea. I mean, I like Pitbull as much as the next guy, but I didn't understand. I don't know Bad Bunny's songs, but I thought far as a production, it was very good, Super Bowl level. I just didn't know what he was singing about, but I mean, there was a lot of dancing and all going on, which you would expect. I mean, that's the kind of scene I would expect to see in Miami if I was out at a nightclub in Miami somewhere.
Yeah, like his music is good, like party music, like to have on in the background, I think. And if it had captions, I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit better, I think. But as far as like, people were worried that it was going to be controversial because he's been like that in the past, but it wasn't. And I thought overall it was all right. I'm not going to put it up there in like my top Super Bowl performances.
No, it's not Michael Jackson or Prince.
I think Prince is like the top dog just because it rained when he was singing Purple Rain.
I know that was kind of cool, but I have to go with MJ. I still think Michael Jackson flying out of the place with a backpack was still one of my favorites.
And then,
of course, I just liked MJ
there. Whenever he came out on stage and stood there for like 10 minutes, I'm sure
he let it breathe. We call that letting it breathe in the business.
Letting it breathe. But I mean, it wasn't. As far as halftime shows go, I definitely enjoyed it better than last year's. I thought that now what was really cool that I don't know if you're listening to this and you watched it, I don't know if you watched the halftime show or not or watched all the way through, but there was a part where there was a couple getting married.
Yeah, right.
That was an actual wedding. Because so the backstory on that, I looked it up. They invited Bad Bunny to their wedding. a while ago, and he couldn't make it due to like a tour date or something.
Right.
And then he ended up inviting them to get married on the stage at the Super Bowl.
Well,
they had an official. They had like all their friends and family up there. Like it was cool. It was cool to see that.
Your mom was like, "Are they really getting married?" And I said, "Betty, this is a production. I mean, just because you have a couple at a Broadway play, getting married, that doesn't mean. I mean, it could just be part of the production. But you're saying that it was legit."
Yeah, it was legit. I looked it up, and people, all over the place were confirming it. So that was cool. There were also some cameos in there. Lady Gaga showed up and did a song that honestly, that song needs to be the original song, and that's how it needs to go. I didn't like that version of it, but what's his name? Ricky
Martin.
Ricky Martin. He was in there, and then there were some faces that they were quick if you looked close enough, but you couldn't realize it if you saw it. But Jessica Alba was up there, and Pedro Pascal was up there as well, and then Braves outfielder Ronald Acuna was up there as well.
Really?
So yeah.
So all of them are very fluent Spanish speaking.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Ronald Acuna is Cuban or Puerto Rican.
Yeah, probably so. Bad Bunny's Puerto Rican.
Yeah, and that whole
How did he get that name, Hunter? Do you know how did Bad Bunny get his name?
I don't know Bad Bunny lore.
I mean, what? I wonder what finished second. I mean, if he was making a list and he goes, I'm going to go with Bad Bunny. What was, say, number 2 or 3? Bad Goat?
I don't know.
Bad Butterfly?
I don't know.
Anybody? Anybody know?
It worked out. Like, I'm glad that he found a nickname that worked out in a stage name. But yeah, overall, like the whole, stage was cool to see. I don't know if you saw the video, but apparently those massive bushes were people dressed up in that. And
I thought the bushes. I thought the bushes were going to dance. I thought at some point they were going to dance, but when you have to get that much stuff on the field, we were talking about it. It's better to have legs in there just to run it out there.
Yeah.
But I really thought at some point in the performance, all those bushes were going to start dancing.
Yeah, me too. I thought we were going to have a left shark moment like we did with Katy Perry in that Super Bowl. But, as far, again, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. And
did you catch the alternative halftime show?
I watched a little bit of it. I enjoyed that too. There was about 5 million people watching it at one point, which was cool. Whenever I texted y'all that 4 million people were watching it, it jumped up to 5 like pretty quick in the middle of the Super Bowl.
Okay, so I'm confused. What was so controversial about Bad Bunny that they had to have a second halftime show?
I think it had to do with he was a
just not in English
speaking. Yeah, I think that's the main thing, and I think people had enough.
Hey, you better get ready for that, folks. That's coming in 2050, by the way. You're going to, our Latino brothers and sisters are going to be the majority in this country.
Yep.
And Whitey's going to be a minority, okay?
But, I as far as like...
Hola, señorita.
Yeah, as far as that performance went, like if it had some, English captions, I think I would have been fine with it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it either, though. I know some people just were straight like, I don't like it.
Let me ask you this. On the alternative halftime show, we were all trying to figure out what it was going to be on. And somebody said it was on TBN, Trinity Broadcasting Network. Now, that's a religious network. Is that true? And I thought Kid Rock on TBN something.
No, it was on Turning Point USA's YouTube channel. They had put it together pretty. I guess it was after they announced Bad Bunny was going to be the halftime artist.
There was some backlash, but I didn't understand if they thought he was dirty or the lack of English offended people. I never really understood.
I think they thought he was going to be very anti, movement of what's happening currently in the country.
Well, listen, I did see him on the American Music Awards about a week ago, and he gave a long Ice Out speech, which I didn't care for.
Yeah, which is expected. But, the
if
thing
you're
with
here
the
legally,
point,
what is your problem? What do you care?
Yeah. That's the point that they're missing. But as far as like that Turning Point USA halftime performance, it was fine up until Kid Rock came out there and he kind of ruined it. He had a cool moment where he was talking about Jesus, and then like I turned it back on to see what was going on, and I was like, what is he doing? Like he was just like kind of running around whipping his hair. I was like, it was cool, when you had the other artists on that I didn't really know the names of, to be honest with you, but it was just interesting.
Well, I have not seen, I'll be honest with you, I have not seen the alternative halftime show. I was going to watch it sometime today, and maybe we can form some kind of opinion on it. But I thought the Bad Bunny production level was high. I thought it was Super Bowl worthy. I didn't understand anything they were saying, but it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it did, and like the vibe was way better than last year's. I'll say that. Nothing against Kendrick Lamar. Like some of his music
I take it
is
you
all
didn't
right.
like Kendrick Lamar too much.
No, there was like one part that I liked just because there was some beef going on between him and another rapper last year that was really fun to keep up with. And no one thought he was going to put the song out about, or at least, sing the song or rap the song, whatever you want to call it, perform the song that he put out last year that went viral. But other than that, it wasn't that impressive to me. But Bad Bunny, the production, like you're saying, was way higher. The vibe was way better. It just, I don't know, the whole thing production wise, I was very impressed with it. If it just had captions, I think I would have enjoyed it more.
Maybe I messed up. Maybe I should have gone with the name Bad Bubba. Maybe it should be Bad Bubba on the Lake. What do you think?
I don't know. I think Bubba flows pretty well.
All right, we're going to take a break right quick. Hunter, can you hang around a minute? I wanted to talk Super Bowl commercials briefly.
Yes, I would love to.
We'll be right back. This is Bad Bubba with Bubba on the Lake.
Where's Bubba?
I'll tell you where. He's on the lake.
Just got that new boat? Let Sunrise Docks protect your investment with Swift Shield boat covers, Neptune boat lifts, and easy ports for your personal watercraft. Plus, they have composite decking that stays cool, designed with your feet in mind. Sunrise Docks is always first in quality, first in service, and first in customer satisfaction. Right off Highway 63, your Lake Martin headquarters, with 2 barges and the most experienced boat lift crew on the lake. Sunrise Docks is your lake life expert. Call 256-392-5200.
On the water or off, experience lake life to the fullest at Russell Lands on Lake Martin. Spend your mornings with breakfast at Fanny's. Afternoons, you can explore over 100 miles of trails through Russell Forest. And for dinner, how about the Southern farm-to-table flavors at Spring House? Whether you're here for the weekend or you've made your home at the lake, Russell Lands is where community and the land come together. To learn more about upcoming events, visit russelllands.com. Come see what lake life is all about.
Another staff meeting, another push for cross-selling, another awkward silence. Then Banker Bounty happened. The first referral platform made just for banks. One app that empowers every employee, not just your top producers, to bring in business. No more spreadsheets, no more silos, just clarity, culture, and actual growth in real time. Banker Bounty fixes more than your referral program. It fixes your momentum. Go to bankerbounty.com, watch the video, book your free demo. Banker Bounty. Create, manage, and track referrals in real time.
We're back. Hunter Bussey, Hunter on Sports. We're recapping the Super Bowl, the halftime performance. And, of course, Hunter, we cannot move forward without talking about Super Bowl commercials. The conversation broke out at our party about how much the commercials cost. Do you know how much they cost?
I know,
I'm gonna tell you.
I know it goes up every year. I don't think this number is accurate, but I saw like it's up there mid-millions.
Hunter,
which is
Hunter,
crazy.
You're way low. You're way low. Super Bowl 60, a 30-second commercial, according to USA Today, $10 million.
Good God.
$10 million. Now, this is in contrast to Super Bowl I in 1967, $37,500. Okay. So there's your range. We broke the $1 million mark in in 1995, Super Bowl 29, commercials were 1.15 million, up from 900,000 the year before in 1994. We broke 2 million in the year 2000. Very appropriate, I think. That year in 2000, they were 2.1 million, up from 1.6 million in 1999. We broke 3 million in 2011. We broke 4 million in 2014, 5 million in 2017, 6 million in 2022, 7 million in 2023. 23 and 24 was flat, 7 million. Last year, 8 million. And then this year, 2026, $10 million. Of course, it is the most watched program in the country. So tell me, was there a commercial that stood out to you as very good or any that you thought were very bad?
I didn't think there were any that were bad necessarily. The ones that stood out to me that made me laugh was the Michelob Ultra commercial with Lewis Pullman and I'm going blank on his name now, where they're skiing, where he's teaching them how to ski. You know, they're like making fun of them for not being able to ski, and they're like, "Who needs a credit card when you have so and so?"
Right.
And he goes, "We can fix that." He goes, "Meet me at the top of the mountain, dawn," or something like that. And he teaches them how to ski. I thought that was good.
I gotta
Budweiser. The Budweiser commercial was hilarious. That was so funny. And that guy, he goes, "Are you crying?" He goes, "No, the sun's in my eyes." That owned me.
Okay, so and you're talking about the one with the Clydesdale and the baby eagle.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, yes. I thought that was one of the best ones. At our party, that commercial got the biggest response from the crowd.
I mean, they play Freebird for God's sakes.
I mean, when you have Freebird in a commercial and you have a baby eagle that learns to fly, and that one moment where the horse is jumping over the log and the wing span of the eagle, it looks like Pegasus, you know? Yeah. I mean, and then the comedy bit, the comedy line is it. I mean, I don't use that product, but I sure thought it was funny. I thought it was a great commercial.
The State Farm commercial with Keegan-Michael Key and Haley Steinfeld was funny too.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that one where they were singing halfway there because the insurance she was at that she was trying to buy only covered half of her things and whatnot. That was funny.
Now I will tell you this, but my two favorite were the Budweiser with the Clydesdale and the Eagle, and I thought funny was Kendall Jenner and the Kardashian curse. Now, I thought that was hilarious.
That was funny. That was really funny.
Now, that's where, you know, there's this running joke about the Kardashian curse and that anybody they date ends up bombing out. And the commercial was actually for Fan Sports book. So she was saying she was betting on players or betting against players that she had dated because she knew they were going to crash. And they showed all these pictures of her and her boyfriend, and the heads had been torn off the boyfriends because she's had so many.
Obviously. Yeah, probably
and the great line right at the end, she goes, "Kardashian curse. That ain't even my name." I mean, she's a Jenner. You know?
She's a Jenner.
So I thought that was funny.
What's funny too is she's dating the shooting guard for the Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker, who I really like as a basketball player. Played at Kentucky, killed Auburn whenever he was there at Kentucky. But he's not under the curse currently, knock on wood. But he's like an all-star. He's a great basketball player, one of my favorites. So as far as her dating him, I think the curse is fine. It's the other ones that you got to watch out for. If a Kardashian comes your way, just run.
I thought her making fun of the Kardashian curse and then pointing out that her name is Jenner was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't laugh at yourself, you know, that's where the great humor starts. Some other ones that were, you know, I think a valuable, important message, relax your tight end. The PSA for prostate exams with all the former tight ends from the NFL in it. I thought that was pretty funny.
the amount of Patriot fans on X, not only were they getting slapped around in the Super Bowl, the slap in the face of Rob Gronkowski not wearing a Patriots uniform, he was wearing a Bucks uniform, which it was Bruce Arians. He used to be his coach, so that makes sense. Right. But it was just funny that happened. Unfortunately, I thought I was going to have to do a welfare check on our friend Zach Blackerby, who's a big Patriots fan. I have not heard from him today yet, so I don't know. Maybe he's still recovering. I don't know. He was nervous about the game. So,
what about? I'm going to tell you another one that got a lot of attention here was the Uber Eats with Matthew McConaughey.
Yes,
and what's his name? The other actress,
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper, big Eagles fan.
Yes.
I thought that was kind of cute too.
Yeah, wherever at the end he goes, can we just squash this beef? And he goes, beef's a food. And he goes, and it like cut away. That was so good.
Now I tell you one that got me moving was the robots and the vodka commercial that were singing Super Freak. I couldn't stay in my seat for that one. I had to get up and move a little bit.
Yeah, that one was good too. The one that stood out to me, it wasn't really necessarily like a funny commercial, but it was a trailer for Steven Spielberg's new movie.
Yeah.
Did you see this, Disclosure Day?
Yes.
With Emily Blunt?
I did.
Yes. It's going to be really good. I'm very excited about it. It is basically the day that aliens decide to reveal themselves to the human race.
Yeah, that's
it's going to be really good.
We're all looking forward to that.
Oh, I know.
So I combed the internet a little bit, some of these sites that rank the commercials, and not saying that this is number one, but the Clydesdale commercial scored real good. So did the Kardashian commercial. The Relax Your Tight End. Sabrina Carpenter with her Pringles man.
That was funny big. Too. That was funny too.
Jurassic Park. They had all the characters for that back.
Was that AI that they did. Yeah. They inserted a guy into the movie, the original movie, and then when they were on the vacation, that was all AI, which is kind of scary, by the way, because like their voices sounded the same. So but you continue.
What about touching? Did you like the Ring commercial where they're saying now that you can search for your dog?
Okay. Here's my question with that. Yeah. I get that they have AI that helps with that pairs with their software, and Ring cameras work. Like I'm a believer in Ring. They're great products. Their ecosystem's great. To me, they're like the Apple of smart home doorbells.
Right. I agree.
When they say if you lose your dog,
right,
and you program that dog into the system, and it's going around the neighborhood and it hits a match of a golden retriever, I feel like majority of your neighborhood has to have Ring cameras, which a lot of people do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong. You do.
It's a thing now, but what are the odds that your neighborhood, happens to have all that synced up, updated, unless it does it automatically, which I'm sure it does.
Yeah, but I think, Hunter, and like I say, I've got some Ring cameras, so I've seen the little pop-ups on it. I think you have a button you hit if you have a lost dog, and you upload a picture of your dog, or maybe several pictures. Mm-hmm. And then the AI, because everybody's Ring camera uploads to a server. Right. You're whatever's happening in front of your house right now is going to one of their servers. Mm-hmm. So if you have a lost dog, they have a geo fence, let's say, of, I don't know what they use, what their algorithm is, but let's say a mile around your house. They're going to look for that dog on every one of those cameras. And that AI technology, I mean, our hunting cameras now, when I get an alert, it tells me if it's a buck, if it's a doe, if it's a fox, if it's a coyote, if it's a car. I mean, they can recognize that through these algorithms. So, I think it's a pretty cool feature. I mean, I know some people think, well, they're spying on me. They're looking at my camera. They're already looking at it. You ain't lost any privacy. They're already, you upload it to their server, and they're scanning it for different things anyway. So, I think, I got a Ring camera because I want to see what's happening at my house and have it as a doorbell. I don't necessarily get it because I want to hunt lost dogs, but if it'll help out, if I've got a lost dog, that's pretty important to me. Yeah. So why
That's
not?
a cool feature.
Why not?
It's a cool feature. I want to know, like, if like a neighbor loses their golden retriever and then I lost my golden retriever, how do I know the difference if it's mine or theirs?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like that's what sucks.
Well, yeah, you could have a problem there. The AI could probably not differentiate between the two if they were the same color, same size, but if all else fails, send out one of those Clydesdales to find it. They'll bring it back. They take care of eagles. Why not dogs?
Yeah.
So anyway, Super Bowl 60 is in the books. The Seahawks are the champions. Ads cost $10 million each. You've heard a recap of the game. You've heard a recap of halftime and of the commercials, which always end up being as big a story as the game itself. Any other parting ideas or thoughts here, Hunter, on the Super Bowl as it wraps up?
I do have a couple, or just one specifically. As far as halftime shows go,
yes.
Who would you want to see now or again? Like if they got a mulligan or a chance to do it again, and the one that I want to do it again has already been in it twice. Once doing it on his own, and then once making a cameo.
Bruno,
yes,
Bruno Mars.
I need an updated Bruno Mars halftime show.
He put on a good show. I give you that.
When he came out with Coldplay and Beyonce and did, Uptown Funk, and then did like that, I guess it was like a dance off between Beyonce and all that. Like that was really good. And then his halftime show, oddly enough, when it was Seattle, they were in MetLife, I want to say, playing the Broncos when they blew them out. I remember watching that in the movie room with you. I was like, this Super Bowl is lasting 10 hours because the Broncos can't score. That was a really good one, but I would like to see him get an updated one, but I don't know. They normally don't let you do that.
That's probably a lot. I don't know if do you go with somebody hot or do you go with a legend that hasn't done it?
Yeah. I don't know.
There's you could argue that has the Eagles ever done the halftime show? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Them or the Rolling Stones or somebody like that. I don't know. They may be too old now. If you're going to get them, you better get them now because they're dying off.
Real quick, to the other commercial I forgot to mention, the Instacart commercial with Ben Stiller and Benson Boone. Did you see that one?
I didn't think it was that funny.
The one, well, it was, to me, it was funny because they were trying to outdo each other, or at least Ben Stiller was trying to outdo the younger Benson Boone, and he tried to do a flip after he cut one just standing, and like wiped out that body double they had where it was just a mannequin flailing around. Made me laugh so hard. I don't know why it did, but it got me.
All I can think of, I really didn't get to see it. But it didn't hit me. If I think Ben Stiller's in a commercial, I think it's going to be the greatest ever because he is so funny.
No, he's
but
hilarious.
It just didn't hit me. I don't know. Maybe I was in search of chips right then. I don't know. But anyway, Hunter Bussey, thank you for stopping in with us, sharing your thoughts on the Super Bowl, the halftime show, and commercials. And real quick, plug away.
Yeah, you can find me every Monday through Friday helping out with The Barn. I host a show or co-host a show with Graham McLean called The Barn Social Hour. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. We talk all things Auburn and just funny stuff in general, as well as, college football, basketball, you name it, news that's going on. Help out with this podcast, Bubba on the Lake and the Tailgate Show. And I have my personal YouTube channel as well where you can find me. Just look up my name, and I might eventually change that into something that's more recognizable instead of just my name. So I don't get doxxed by somebody that just decides to be like that one day. So, but,
Hunter, thank you for taking time with us. We'll be right back on Bubba on the Lake.
It's Bubba on the Lake. Bubba on the Lake.
Attention business owners, print buyers, and production managers. Guaranteed Labels is here to help you focus less on your printing, labels, decals, and focus more on growing your business. Guaranteed Labels wants to be your reliable printer. Quality, on-time shipments, and stock programs set us apart. If you're needing to focus less on your printing and more on your business, trust Guaranteed Labels, 205-640-4552 or GuaranteedLabels.com. Guaranteed Labels, still sticking since 1988.
Since 1965, Bice Motors has been Lake Martin area's home for Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram sales and service. For 60 years, families have trusted Bice Motors in Alexander City for honest deals, friendly service, and the best selection around. Our team of certified technicians services most all makes and models. Plus, we've got a tire center, parts department, and a full collision center to keep you rolling. Bice Motors, your hometown Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealer since 1965. In Alex City or online at bicemotors.com.
Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
On the water or off, experience lake life to the fullest at Russell Lands on Lake Martin. Want to know what's going on around Lake Martin? Check out the calendar of seasonal events that include Fridays on the Green, naturalist events, fireworks, concerts, poker runs, boat shows, juried art shows, boat parades, and much more. If you're here for the weekend or if you've made your home at the lake, Russell Lands is where community and the land come together. To learn more about upcoming events, visit russelllands.com. Come see what lake life is all about.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
All right, folks, we're back, and thank you for being with us for Bubba on the Lake here in the Mellow Yellow studio. We've had a great show, a lot of information out there. I want to thank all of my guests for being on, and we've had a really fun time. I want to remind you, our website is BubbaOnTheLake.com. You can email me, Bubba at BubbaOnTheLake.com, and we always have our comment line, 308-BIG-LAKE. You can leave a message there. Some of that will make it to air, some of it will not. We always want to remind you to subscribe, turn on notifications wherever you get this podcast, and also on our social media. A lot of the news that we have for the show or happenings, we go ahead and put on social media. It just gets to you quicker that way, and we want you to always be a part of that and never miss it. And if you subscribe to the podcast, it shows up on your podcast app automatically. You don't even have to worry about it. You get in your car, you cut it on, it's going to update and say, hey, you got a new Bubba on the Lake, and that's what some people call the happiest day of the week. It's what I call it. I know. Y'all be good over there. There's nothing like doing the show with producers who want to be comedians. Well, we've had a great time. Thank all of you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be in Orlando next week. They call it Hamcation. They want you to come to the big ham fest down there. Wait a minute. Nerd alert. And they want you to hit the theme parks. They want you to go out to Kennedy Space Center. They say come and stay a month. You can't see it all, and I believe it. By the way, they're rolling another rocket out. The Artemis 2 is still on the pad, and they're rolling out one of Elon's SpaceX rockets. So there's going to be rockets everywhere out there. I'm plumb giddy. I don't know if we're even going to get time to go over to Kennedy Space Center on this particular trip because we're focusing on Hamcation. Sorry, nerd alert. And I realize it's a nerd thing. I got that. But there's a million of us in this country that do this hobby and, spend all of our extra money on it and extra time. But we also meet a lot of really nice friends, and I hope to be able to introduce you to some of those next week. We'll see. We haven't been on the road with the podcast yet. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. It may be a big bomb. We'll find out. But anyway, thank you again. We appreciate you being part of Bubba on the Lake. Spread the news, spread the word. We're looking forward to a big growth year in 26, but it can't happen without you. So remember, until we sail into port again, God loves you and so do we, and thank you for being part of Bubba on the Lake.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Russell Lands. Coke, Buffalo Wild Wings, Southern Immediate Care, Guaranteed Labels, Central State Bank, Sunrise Docks, Banker's Bounty, Dr. Thomas Dudney, and the Green Monster Fishing Light.
B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey, wishing I could listen to the show every day, hey, gotta hear what Bubba and his buddies gotta say on B-U-double-B-A on the lake, in the mellow yellow studio, putting on a show, Betty say, what? She always on the go, we got Hunter Bus sitting at master control, don't wanna miss a moment, cause Bubba's got the flow, B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey, wishing I could listen to the show every day, hey, gotta hear what Bubba and his buddies gotta say on B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey, B-U-double-B-A, hey, B-U-double-B-A, hey, B-U-double-B-A, hey, B-U-double-B-A on the lake, hey.